So, who's going to win the 2012 general election? Is it going to be Perry Christie and the Progressive Liberal Party, or Hubert Ingram and the Free National Movement? Inquiring minds certainly want to know. Political pundits say don't expect landslide victories on either side when both parties square off.
I believe that if you look at the way things are developing now, Rogan, things are moving in a way that the elections are going to be very close. I don't look for a blowout on either side. I think if elections were held today, you would see a runaway election for the PLP. And that's because of a number of things that are going on in the economy right now. Crime is at an all-time high. The BTC issue is still a very, very hot issue. There's also the problem or the issues regarding Bahama and the Chinese, and Bahamians still have not gotten comfortable with that. So I think there are enough issues now. In addition to which, let me also add, the cost of living has increased appreciably. We are going to see the increase in cost in the food prices. We're going to see increase in fuel, and those two are staples. Those are required by every household, and that will be felt throughout the economy.
In fact, some say the Elizabeth by-election in 2010 will be a precursor of what's to come. And even though most Bahamians haven't bought into the idea of having a third party as the government, most pundits we talk to believe they'll play a key role.
The issue really in this election will be the degree to which people are prepared to vote for neither the PLP nor the FNM. Because when you look at the Elizabeth by-election, to me, the biggest story in that by-election was not who won the by-election, but the fact that the vote would have been nowhere near as close if people did not support the BDM or the NDP. And so I think in this election, third parties, third, fourth, or fifth options are going to play a decisive role.
I think the incumbents ought to be careful about the effect of third parties and independents. Because naturally in the Elizabeth election, while third parties and independents got some 200 and some odd votes, that made the difference. Because Ryan Pinder, although he would boast about an election victory, is by 1 or 2 votes. So they have to be careful for loss of margin.
And what about the candidates?
I don't see much new. I see new faces, but you know, the same lawyer and doctor kind of style of strategy for the PLP, and a lot of very related figures. So my mommy, my daddy, my uncle, this one and that one was a this, and so I is a that. The PLP is trying this idea of new faces, but you know, in the mix again is a Leslie Miller who, you know, is an old face and a popular or unpopular face. I don't know that the PLP strategy for candidates has been very successful.
And just how has the FNM's performance been compared to the PLP's?
I think that Mr. Ingram and his party have not been given the credit at the level of the economy that they could have and should have. Thousands of people who would not ordinarily be working have been put to work, primarily young men. Number 2, I see a number of young black Bahamian women sweeping streets and who seem to be doing so with pride. It seems to me, therefore, that at the level of the economy, Mr. Ingram has been able, under great pressure and against the odds, to keep this thing together.
I just don't think Perry Christie is a good opposition leader. I think he functioned better as a prime minister than he did as an opposition leader. Now, I would also say that were Perry Christie no longer leader of the PLP would probably be a bigger favorite going into the next election, because I'm not really sure he has been able to shake all of the knocks that were on him when he lost the last time. Has he convinced the Bahamian people that he's no longer indecisive, which is what he was labeled as? Has he convinced the Bahamian people that he can make quick decisions, which he was labeled as someone who couldn't make quick decisions? Has he convinced the Bahamian people that he can control and discipline people in his party? I don't think he has.
I think the PLP have been a little too reactionary. I believe that the public wanted to see an opposition that is responsible. And what I mean by that is an opposition which sets out their views sets out their programs, gave the alternative positions. I don't think that the PLP has capitalized on that as much as we ought to have. And therefore, you have the sense that whilst there's a degree of disaffection with the government and their performance over the past years, that those Bahamians who are thinking of not voting for the FNM have not yet fully committed their support to the PLP. They are somehow stuck in the middle.
They have been as effective as mediocrity could possibly be.
Brogan Smith for JCN News.